Hey, what's happening? Fixing my chair here, people. Hold on. There we go.
I just realized I had myself muted. Howdy, y'all.
You're like, oh shit. That's awesome. That's always good.
I totally felt.
Welcome to the new segment on Battle Bros. Battle Bros ASMR. As we open
Relax. You know, I kind of wish I had that sound effect. You know, like they do in the bush. Bush. That would be pretty damn funny, actually.
That's funny. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome. If you're new to the show, hey, thanks for stopping by and checking it out. Whether you're listening to it live, watching it live, or you're watching this at another point in time, all good. We appreciate you for stopping by and checking us out. We are the Battle Bros Podcast.
Screw it, we're doing it live.
Right. My name is Mac. This handsome SOB, that's son of Boricua. That's Alamo. We are two friends that have been friends for a long time. Each of us served in the GWAT era military, whereas I was National Guard for 6 years and went to Afghanistan. Alamo was on active duty and went to Iraq. So we kind of have that whole, cover the whole spectrum kind of thing going there. So, yeah. If, like I said, if you haven't been on the if you haven't checked out the show before, I was just explaining that. I'm sorry. It's been a long damn day, folks. I was out in the sun. My brain feels like
It has.
Day. Yeah, it's been a long week. It's been a long day, but it's been a long week.
You opened yourself up for some commentary, but I just didn't say it.
I appreciate that. So, shut the hell up, everybody. Sorry, I'm plugging my phone in. Anyway, yeah. So we get on here and we talk about pertinent issues and topics related to primarily.
If your head was an egg, I'd make an omelet.
As I was saying, we get on here and discuss issues that are pertinent to the military and veteran community, also for first responders, law enforcement, firefighter, EMT, if you fall into that category. We certainly do not discriminate against the viewership or consumption of our show.
Sure enough, don't.
Yeah, it's pretty much for anybody. So if you are watching us on one of the different platforms, we're pretty much on a lot of different things now. Alamo will talk to you about it at the end of the show. We're on.
Yeah, buddy.
We broadcast live on YouTube every Friday. We also pretty much do a lot of the different podcasts. We have Stitcher, Anchor. We're going to talk about
the Rumble, all that good stuff.
All the good stuff. So yeah, we have a lot of good places. There's a lot of good places you can come and check us out and whatnot. Listen to the show, watch the show if you want. We have a YouTube channel. We have social media, all that good stuff. So please feel free to check that out.
YouTube, which you are watching us on right now.
Watching us on.
Excuse
me. We're very fortunate that we can even get a damn show done because what did we do the other night? We ended up watching like funny shit on Facebook, right? The other night we were supposed to be doing this. Like we just had a rough day. We're just like, yeah, whatever.
I mean, we got our research done though, so
Did we? You know what I'm saying? It was like, oh boy. It's like Luther the Anger Translator said, "Hold on to your lily white butts." So yeah. Anyway, if you're like the rest of us, hopefully you're staying hydrated because it is hotter than two rats fucking in a wool stocking. At least it is in Florida. Like, good God. It's like the third level of Super Mario Brothers where like the sun's trying to kill you. Yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah.
Right now.
I got
told me that reference. I'm like, how do you know that? She goes, oh, I saw it on somewhere. I'm like, that's about right.
Let's just put it to you this way. We had a issue where our tire had like freaking either way. Okay, long story short, it went flat and I ended up having to repair the damn thing. in the time frame that it took me to go get some stuff to repair it, and then to finish repairing it by the end of my lunch break, I was drenched in sweat literally until the end of the day. That's how hot it is.
That's why I just went and bought like a bunch of shirts that are like kind of like lightweight. They breathe well. They're They're they have a like have a SPF factor to them or whatnot. I'm just like,
hell yes.
I'm not playing around anymore.
That's how you got to do it, man.
As we were saying, there are plenty of ways you can view our old episodes. If you feel froggy enough to go and check out our past episodes we've done, you can watch them on Spotify, on YouTube. YouTube is pretty much where we video is where we have all the episodes on, all the good stuff. So it is out there. Just search Battle Bros Podcast. You'll find it. It's not that hard to find. There are other, like I said, avenues of social media out there that you can check out. So please feel free to do that. We didn't. Oh, that's right. We didn't have any news this week, so we can kind of skip over that. So, if you caught our show last week,
news was actually kind of dry this week, which I was very surprised.
There was a lot of news, but it wasn't really military stuff. There was some shit about like, it's like, oh yeah, Hunter Biden got it like guilty. I'm like, okay, skip.
Yeah.
Shit. Anyway, if you caught our show last week, it was episode 82. We were talking about the 80th anniversary of D-Day because it happened on Thursday before the show. So that's why we called the show Overlord, because that was the name of the operation for the Allied invasion of Western Nazi-occupied Europe. Pretty awesome. Like just thinking about all the crap that they did and all the stuff and like all the you got to be batshit crazy to go and jump out of a perfectly good airplane and make it to the ground with a compass or a knife.
In the words of the great Tim Kennedy, these guys took their balls, slung them over their shoulders, and did what they had to do.
I like what Logan Stark said from Black Rifle Copy. He goes, here's an M1 Garand and an E-tool and a canteen. Go to fucking work. Yeah. Love it. Love it. There's some really cool footage of they have there's some good footage of the guys from Black Rifle Coffee and some it's like extended family. Like they have Andy Stump there and Tim Kennedy. Tim Kennedy actually did a re-enlistment ceremony right there on the beat in the drop zone at Normandy. Just rad stuff. Shaved his head into a mohawk, made him look like McNasty.
James McNasty McNeese.
Yep. There's a cool story there. If you don't know who that guy is, go
that's
check that
one
shit
bad son bitch.
Yeah,
if you really want a great story told about him, if you want the story told the best, go over to YouTube and watch The Fat Electrician and watch his video on him.
He's got a video on there. I'm gonna check
amazing.
Since we're done with this. Absolutely. I mean, that's such a great resource for learning about shit. It's so fucking awesome.
And he says it in a fun and funny way.
It's entertaining. But it's also engaging. You're just like, we're gonna talk about this. It's gonna be awesome. And he's very charismatic and he's got a great personality and stuff. So I was like, yeah. So we normally cover some news events for the military. However, wasn't really a lot of news this week for the military. Nothing we could find. So
very dry week, y'all. Very dry.
Dry week. There's some other stuff they had going on, but I was just like, I saw one article. I'm like, So let's get into our conversation. So this week we are talking about purpose. So, and it's kind of something you think about, and it's like, yeah, purpose. We all need it. We all kind of seek it out at times. But as I said in the footnote, it's probably the one thing collectively that veterans kind of like feel the absence of when they leave the military, because it's just like
not the green fairy.
No,
the lack of something.
I knew I was waiting for you to like. He's going to mention the damn drink. Shut up. But yeah, I mean, when you leave the military, you lose that sense of purpose. You lose being with the guys and all that kind of stuff. So it's just like, what do I do now? So we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit tonight. So like we always do, we're going to talk about what that means. So, purpose is defined as the reason for which something is done or created, or for which something exists. So, purpose. So, you know, we could easily talk about a bunch of different examples. I mean, the two examples that I kind of thought up, one being our show. We're going to talk about it at the very end. If you're new to the show, the kind of the progenesis of how this podcast came to be and whatnot. It's not the greatest story, but it's a story worth telling, hands down. But you also look at, like purpose also kind of dictates what something does. For example, if you look at every, cut above average, not okay, let me rephrase that. If you look at every different type of soft unit, special operations forces, whether it's Rangers, whether it's SF, whether it's JTAC, TACPs, Navy SEALs, Force Reconnaissance, MARSOC, the CSOs of MARSOC, and all that kind of shit. Each one of them has a very distinct, unique mission that they're trying to accomplish. Like for Rangers, it's airfield seizure. For Special Forces, it is pretty much going in and training and teaching, local indigenous personnel of a country or country state or whatnot to fight for their own and kind of become smart. They go in there and they
oppresso liber.
To free the oppressed. Yeah, that's the motto of the Green Berets. And then you also have guys like Delta or the unit, where that's like pretty much like straight up counterterrorism type stuff. It's based directly off of Special Air Service from the British military. So everybody's got a little bit different slice of the pie, and it's all different, and they have a unique purpose. So like the reason. So if you know anything about SF. The reason behind the kind of weird numbering of the groups. So there's 7 groups nowadays. There's 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, and 10th, and active duty, and there's 19th and 20th that are members of the National Guard. So the idea behind that was during the Cold War when they stood up the Special Forces groups and the teams and all that stuff. They said 10 Special Forces, and the Russians are going, holy shit, they have 9 other Special Forces group. We're fucked. Shit. Oh my God. That's terrible. I know. I'm sorry. It's a long day.
If you want real Russian accent, you must listen to me. I pay you more ruble than you think of. Eh? Just make sure you pay attention to what I say. Eh?
I think the best Russian accent
you get yourself some goulash.
The best one you do is the guy from Armageddon.
This is the Russian space station. I am having gravity. Fucking A.
Russian components, American components.
I'll name Taiwan.
And that right there, folks, is prime example of why we don't get shit done. We're supposed to get it done because like, we're just screwing around.
Precisely.
But anyway,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay. So as I was saying with purpose is like there's a reason for something. It's like, the reason, the purpose of like a contemporary example. Purpose of like an electric vehicle is just to be a little bit more eco-friendly, to not be so reliant upon fossil fuels. And then you get into the whole political argument of, well, then you're just putting more demand on the electrical grid. Yes, you're absolutely right. And we haven't exactly bolstered the electrical infrastructure in the country. So that's another conversation for another day. However, look at, another good example. Look at rideshare like Uber and Lyft and all that stuff. The purpose of that was to provide a safer alternative for folks than driving drunk. It's like, I would love to see the statistics on how much that's gone down since Uber and Lyft have been instituted into certain, city demographics around the country. Like, I was part of that when it first started. It was kind of cool because it's like, it's like a world company. It's Uber. It's badass. Stuff like that.
And on top of that, I think purpose drives everybody. Like everybody's gonna have a reason for doing something. Everybody's gonna have a why, even if you like don't expressly acknowledge what that why is. You know, when like I know I've known plenty of people that they're like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know, Well, okay. Do you get up every day thinking about how you're going to feed your family? Well, yeah. Do you, think about how you're going to financially support them and what you're going to do to make sure that they're, taken care of, all that good stuff? Well, yeah. Well, then could you say that your purpose is to, I don't know, take care of your family, be a family man, family woman the best family man, family woman that you want to be?
I never
You know,
thought of
it,
it like that.
oh, it like it's it,
Ooh.
everybody has their why from, you know, I want to end world hunger, or I want to, you know, bring an end to veteran suicide, or like everybody has their why. And you know we're here to discuss, in many ways, like what is ours, and then kind of opening up the floor to you guys for what is yours.
Exactly. And like we said earlier, we're going to talk about like the progenesis of this. We usually talk about it. I think we have talked about it every single episode we've been on, um, from 001 all the way to this episode 083. So,
Hell
but
yes.
like we were saying, it's kind of one of those topics. Like it seems pretty commonplace, but have we ever really kind of thought about it? And some people can honestly say no, they really haven't. So we found a couple articles that are going to talk. They're going to read real quick. Just kind of share where they're
Hey,
from. We have the first one is from the Scottsdale Community College, which is a Maricopa Community College. This is scottsdalecc.edu. This is an article from November 12th, 2019, called Why Having a Sense of Why Having a Sense of Purpose is Important. All right, so starting off, why having a sense of purpose is important. The dictionary defines purpose as the reason for which something exists or is done, made, or used. Sounds pretty boring, huh? But when you break it down, it turns out purpose is pretty important to your physical, mental, and emotional health. It's that big. So, what is your purpose? According to researcher William Damon, who wrote A Path to Purpose, it is, quote, a stable and generalized intention to accomplish something that is at the same time meaningful to the self and consequential for the world beyond the self, end quote. In fact, the meaningful intention can help you stay focused on the things that matter most to you, like family, friends, faith, career, and more. It helps you prioritize your life, allowing you to walk away from certain people or activities that don't serve your purpose. It's a main driver to stay motivated when things get tough, so you can set and meet short and long term goals. And maybe most of all, it makes you feel like you are making a difference in the world. Think about this. When you have a sense of purpose, you tend to have the following: increased optimism, resiliency, and hope. Experience joy, happiness, and satisfaction more often. Better physical health, a lower risk of death, being a more engaged student, enjoying the process of learning more, feeling a greater sense of belonging at school, increased career satisfaction, being a leader in the workplace, and a higher income. And I mean, hey, higher income is always a good thing. So
Yeah.
can't go
Nobody
with that.
can disagree with that one.
Not at all. Having a sense of importance is starting to sound pretty good for you, right? Damon believes that people fall into one of four categories when it comes to having a sense of purpose. Number one, the purposeful. You have found something that is personally meaningful to you and that contributes to the greater good. You have sustained interest over a long period of time, and you can clearly articulate your why. Two, dreamers. You think about it and possibly express great ideas, but you have not taken any practical action. Dabblers. Number 3, dabblers. You have engaged in potentially purposeful activities without committing to one in particular or sustaining your efforts over a long period of time. You may struggle to articulate your why. And 4, the disengaged. You don't have a sense of purpose in life and don't have any desire or need to find one. Which category do you think you fall into at this point in your life? See, purpose is not something we find and then we are done. It's a journey. And on this journey, we are always taking action to better understand and fulfill our purpose. Okay. Now, the other part I would read, but it's just an advertisement for the workshops that they're offering, and it's from 5 years ago, and they're in Arizona, so it's not really pertinent. So we're gonna stop the article right there. So I mean, having a sense of purpose, it just makes you
one of our listeners who lives in Arizona anyway.
But again, the article was from 5 years ago, so
also valid. So, I think I've been every one of those at some point.
Oh yeah.
As I think pretty much all of us more than likely have been every single one of those at one point.
I think so they were talking about what is it? The dabblers. You have engaged in potentially purposeful activities like committing to one in particular. It's kind of like when I was in band in middle school. I was just like, oh, this is fun. This is great, And then I got to high school, and like the skill of the players around you has gotten tremendously better. You're playing much harder pieces of music, and I went from being a dabbler to like, oh, I'm in this, like full throttle, hardcore. That and hearing stories from my older brother, like when he was in high school, when he's in marching band in high school and playing concert pieces and going to some of those concerts. I remember just listening to these pieces, and I'm just like, wow. Like the high school he went to is Hillsborough High School out here in Tampa. It's the oldest high school in the county. Dates back to like the 1800s or some stuff. But like their band program was like, there was a guy named Mr. Farmer who was like pretty awesome. And they played some freaking just crazy, amazing pieces. And just, I kind of like grew up on the lore of my brother. I kind of vicariously lived through his experiences of like things he did in high school and like being in parades and playing football games, all that kind of stuff. So that's what really made me want to do it. So it's pretty cool. What were you going to say there, Alamo? Didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. Like when I say like I think I've been like every single one of those at one point in my life. It's you have those stages where you're exactly what you're gonna do. You're gonna go you're gonna go for it and you're gonna hit it up. I believe that was the which one was that? That was the oh dang it.
The purposeful or the dreamers?
The purposeful, like like when I went for the military, right? The dabbler, obviously I've been there, like when I was, specifically trying to pursue something in law enforcement, obviously I went in there and I went for it, obviously. Obviously we all know it didn't work out because, here I am. But it was a learning experience for me, and I feel like I learned more about myself, by doing it. You know what I mean? And it made me realize that there was a lot more that I had to offer, and that's kind of where the podcast came into play. You know what I mean? At a certain point, and I mean, granted, we've talked about it before where we're not really as big as,
others
one would think as others. Right. But,
and that's okay. We don't need to be big. Like, start off simple, humble, gracious, and then build up from there. And if that takes a long time, so be it. Now, here's a question I have for you, man. So we're looking at the second and third. We have the dreamers. You think about it, possibly express great ideas, but you have not taken any practical action. I'm thinking dabblers. You have engaged in potentially purposeful activities without committing to one in particular, sustaining your efforts over a long period of time. You may struggle to articulate your why. I think that describes you in high school when you got into drama.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
um,
So I remember you.
I would
You were
agree
in
with
the
that.
you were in that one play, the Crucible, right?
I was, yeah. I would agree with that very heavily, only because I know at some point in my life I did actually want to pursue acting, and again, obviously, I didn't go into that for
And we've talked about this plenty of times, like the
specific
voice acting
reasons.
stuff.
Yeah, voice acting, I would definitely give a try. I got to find a place where I can do that kind of stuff from home.
I can do it.
Yeah,
Do it. Do it now.
I'm totally down. I'm totally down to be a voice actor.
Look at how many. I mean, look at the guy. I love the story of the guy. I think is it Peter Cullen, the guy that voices Optimus Prime. He talks about like so
I
he
am
was
Optimus Prime,
yeah, so the interesting story
and
about
I'm
that was that
calling to all Autobots through the stars.
he was talking about how he came up with the voice for that, and
Mhm.
his brother, who was a Marine officer, it was a Marine in Vietnam, and he came home to live, and they lived with each other. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to audition. I'm going to play a truck. And he goes, a truck? He goes, yeah, but he's different. He's a leader. He's just a natural leader. And his brother looked at him and got real serious, and he says, if you're gonna make him a leader, make him strong enough to be soft and kind. And that's when he goes into my name is Optimus, and he goes into the whole thing. He goes, I'm doing an impersonation of my brother, and I'm like, no shit, that's kind of awesome, man. It's crazy, but yeah, totally. Anyway, sorry, squirrel.
Indeed.
Off to the side. But yeah, I mean, I remember you got pretty heavy into that to the point where like you kind of started to pull out. You weren't doing as much as you were doing in ROTC before. You got to the point where like and that's not me chastising or ridiculing or criticizing or anything like that.
No, of course
It was
not.
just kind of obvious, It was like this is something like
It was a career path I thought I'd end up going down at some point, but
I want to try
obviously.
this. I think I'd be good at it. And fuck, you were, man. It was pretty good. Like I remember watching the Crucible. I was just like, wow. Okay, dude's got it. Let's see where this goes. Anyway, so the next article we found, this is from a website called drjody.com. It's
Dr. Jody.
Don't think it has
Not that kind of Jody, folks.
Yeah. This is I don't think it is from she's in Australia. Oh, because her email address is hello at Dr. and it says .com.au, which is Australia. So I was like, oh, okay. So anyway,
The Aussies,
this one's
mate.
pretty good.
The Aussies.
Aussies, not Kiwis. That's New Zealand. It's a big difference there, mate. As we're offending people all across the world. This was a pretty good one, so we're going to read this one real quick.
That's a different. That's a difference, isn't it?
This is a shorter article as well, so we're going to read this one too. Shut up and let me read, damn it. Again, this is called The Importance of Purpose. Right. At some point, I can't even see your face. I got another window up, and I just want to choke you right now. At some point in your working life, there may come a time when you ask yourself, why am I doing this? Working for the sole purpose of earning a living or for achieving personal gain often fails to provide fulfillment. And that brings me, when I read that the first time, it made me think of that quote where, you can work a job and make money, or, you can work a job and be successful, or you can work a job and be happy. It's like, it really, you don't do both. You can be a teacher and, they don't make a whole lot, but you get those teachers that are just so damn passionate about what they do with students. And it's like, absolutely. Or you get people that just make money because they want to make money and have the financial freedom to do what they want to do in life. And it's like, okay, but they hate their job. And they're just like, oh, I hate it, but it pays good. So whatever. That's where a sense of purpose comes in. The greater your purpose, the more motivated you will feel to invest time and energy. Here are 8 benefits of leading your life with purpose. Setting goals. It is important to note the difference between purpose and goals. A goal exists to serve your purpose, not act as your purpose. Purpose is a driving force behind our actions. It guides the goals that we set. Our chosen purpose is often much greater than ourselves. It encompasses more than the sum of the goals we create as we work towards it. Value-driven actions. Our chosen purpose reflects our values. Consciously living with purpose enables us to lead a values-based life. Our most effective actions are often anchored in our values. Embracing values-driven action is one way of knowing that we are on a path that is right for us. Clarity. Striving for a personally meaningful purpose. Sorry, my eyes are getting kind of screwy right now. I'm going to need glasses soon. That's really freaking weighing on me. Striving for a personally meaningful purpose provides us with direction. Being clear on your purpose and the goals required to achieve that purpose makes you virtually unstoppable. This level of clarity helps us connect with like-minded people who can amplify our potential. Clarity has a way of drawing the things you need into your life. I mean, look at the two of us. It's like we kind of just, it works. All right. We're like the friggin' odd couple, but it works, right? Focus. Purpose helps us stay focused on what truly matters. Being able to maintain mental clarity and avoid distractions makes worries and challenges less daunting. Passion. Knowing your passion can lead you, knowing your purpose can lead you to your passion, and being passionate about your goals increases your drive to achieve them. Having meaning behind your actions can make the most mundane aspects of your life feel brighter. Leadership. Identifying and communicating a shared purpose is an important leadership skill. Those you lead will contribute more effectively when they feel they are contributing to something more meaningful than their basic job requirements. Military. As a business owner, entrepreneur, or team leader, it is important to express and reinforce an organizational purpose. Those you lead may be less clear on it than you are. Purpose unites teams behind common goals and increases engagement and enthusiasm. So we're going to take a pause real quick, admin halt, and we're going to talk about that one. Like,
Yeah.
it's so important to understand it. Like, especially like, when you go in the military and you're a junior enlisted guy, you're getting such a small wedge of the pie. You're looking at this little bit right here. As you gain responsibility and leadership and get some troops under your belt, starting off as a team leader, a squad leader, a platoon sergeant, then you get company first sergeant, battalion sergeant major, all that kind of stuff. Like the breadth of the vision that you have of the commander's intent gets bigger. The battalion goal is this. The company goals are this. The platoon goals in said company are this. The squad goals are like this. And the team goal, microscope. And it takes so much for everybody to be banging on all cylinders, so that way every little thing is done. So that way the big picture just takes care of itself. And that's so critically important. Like leadership, I was talking to my daughter a while back, and she's like, we were discussing the leadership styles of different people. Some of them I'm pretty close with, some of them not. But we talked about, just what makes, for good leaders. And I said, I really didn't have a good solid answer for her. I don't like to tell her one way or the other. I kind of follow the Burnham method. Like, I'm going to give you information for both sides of the argument, and then you kind of figure it out and go from there. But yeah, I kind of told her what I thought made me a good leader, about, my experiences in different organizations, in the military, yada, 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 and all that kind of stuff. And why other people, why their leadership style was different. I mean, listen, if you've been in the military, you've seen a lot of different styles of leadership. Some of them are freaking awesome. Some are good. Some of them are like subpar. Some of them are fucking dumpster fire trash. Okay. So that's probably one of the greatest things you can learn from the military or from that experience of being in the military is just you can learn a lot of different things, but you can just see a lot of varying degrees of it getting done to of efficiency. You can see it getting done. It's like, okay, that's what it looks like when a command team has their troops back and they're freaking, expediting paperwork to get them home on leave and all this kind of stuff. Awesome. And then you have other time where it's like, oh, what'd you do for a 4-day weekend? We played fuck games around the barracks. Garbage. So yeah, I mean, and that's so critically important. I mean, even in high school, man, watching like, the administration and watching, your student elected leaders and stuff, like your student government and all that kind of crap, class presidents, all that kind of stuff. Like that's where that stuff starts. Pay attention to that kind of shit. It's important, but also in the real world. I mean, we don't always work for people that have good leadership abilities, or they think they do, but they're absolutely just, like I said, dumpster fire trash. And it happens to everybody. I mean, you and I have worked for some people where it's just like, fuck kind of deal. So, hey, it happens. Don't let it get you down. But
basically what we're saying, folks, is leadership can make or break a situation.
Demonstrate leadership. Don't be a leader shit. Anyway, t-shirt. Make it a t-shirt.
Leader shit.
Not leader shit. Yeah. All right, going back to it. So, the last couple. Integrity. Knowing your purpose enables you to live and act with integrity. It becomes easier to behave in accordance with your core values because you know who you are, what you are, and why you are performing the role you have chosen. And the last one is gratification. Our purpose is expressed in our thoughts, decisions, feelings, and actions. A greater sense of purpose shapes us and our lives, meaning we are better able to make an impact. This makes life highly gratifying. Whatever your purpose may be, once you find it, own it, and observe as your life takes shape around it. Finding your sense of purpose not only aids your journey, it determines the paths of those you lead, the destiny of your business, and in some way, the future of the world. If you haven't found your purpose, make it your purpose to find it now. So, yeah. So the other one, I don't know if I want to use that one, Alamo, just be
slogan goes, changing tomorrow today.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
No, I was saying as my wife's slogan goes, changing tomorrow today.
I remember that was a motto, and I was like, oh yeah, I think that's perfect. Great add-in. I don't know that I'm going to use that last article just because it might give away too much for next week's episode. So I'm just going to maybe kind of stand fast and hold off on that. But yeah, I mean, purpose is such a big deal. Like you hear about guys where they go and they leave these jobs and they go find another job, and it's like, this is my purpose. I was working for as a CEO of a 7-figure salary CEO for a company, and it was just boring and I hated it. And then I went and I was doing this, and it's like, this is my purpose, my calling in life, as it may. And that's so important. And like guys were like, we've heard a lot of people say in various different, methods and, watching different forms of media, whether it's podcasts or freaking, videos on YouTube or whatnot. Like a lot of people, they're like, I miss having that sense of purpose. Like we were talking about the other day, Alamo, you were kind of were saying, I wish they had a class about, and hopefully they do nowadays, but having some kind of like briefing you can go to if you're getting ready to separate out of military, like going back to the freaking civilian world. It's like, it's fucking ruthless, man. It's lawless and shit. Like, it's just like the military in a certain way, and certain guys like do well because they need that little bit of direction and that drive to they need to have them pushed and shaped in a certain way. It's like, hey, uniform of the day. This is what time we're having chow. This is what we're doing today. Well, and they thrive in that because that's like what they need in their life, or they haven't been exposed to it before. And they're just like, yeah, okay, this fucking works. Let's do this. 20 something years. And I would venture to also to say you get those guys that just they put in 30, sometimes 30 plus, close to 40 years in the military, and they get out and they're just like, well, shit, what do I do now? And
Yeah.
they make it. There was just I read something about a while back about some guy. He was an E9. I forget what branch he was in, but he stayed in as long as he could, and he was forced out of the service. It was mandatory retirement, and he made it 6 months on the outside before he just couldn't take it, and he unalived himself, and it's just like, fuck, dude, like that just sucks so bad. And I kind of understand also why a lot of these folks get involved, getting out of the military. They get involved with these corporations where they're going to be working with military folks because you're bringing in all of that energy and that freaking mindfulness and that sense of direction and drive and purpose around you. And it's just like it's infectious. It's like when you get around guys that were, dude, I was watching. I forget what it was. It might have been us. I think we were somewhere and we were talking to some folks. And like you get around dudes that are just like, oh, that's what it was. I was watching. There's a guy, Andrew McCarthy, who has that company GoRuck, and it was kind of like a business profile. They were talking about how that's turned into like a multi-million-dollar business. And he was like, dude, I saw these two guys. The first one I had, I think he's from Jacksonville, I think, and they were doing the first one. It was kind of like a proof of concept, like the first Go Ruck event. And he was like, these guys showed up and they had their military style backpacks and stuff. And these guys were putting 36 racks of beers in their packs. And he's like, what are you guys doing? And they were like, hey, we got this. We're good at this. And it ended up being two guys that were currently in the Marine Corps, and they were just out on the weekend and stuff. So he's like, yeah, okay, that's cool. So now it's kind of like an unwritten rule for like the packing. When you have your packing list for the Go Ruck event, you put some kind of adult beverage in it, so that way when you're done, it's like, there you go, awesome sauce.
Celebrate good time. Come on.
Come on, exactly. So, what do you want to add to all this, Macho?
I mean, look. We've all struggled with purpose. I have had my battles with trying to find out what my purpose is many times. Even recently, where I often wonder, like, what the hell am I doing any of the things that I'm doing? That what am I doing it for? I think the most important takeaway is, your purpose comes with your life experience. You're going to have ups, you're going to have downs. That doesn't make you down and out. Sometimes the journey of finding your purpose is just as important. And hell, I'd even venture to say that the journey of finding your purpose in general, not even sometimes, is probably the most important thing you could ever do. And just because you're not doing something of importance doesn't mean you're not important.
Were you a motivational speaker in a past life, dude? Because like you got some bangers, man. Like I just like, fuck, I should be writing this down. Pencil, pen, ink stick. What the hell?
So I've said it to a couple of people. You have to weigh the good with the bad. Take it from someone that's been through as much shit as I've been through in my life, and and I'm never gonna say I've been through the worst. I've obviously there's always somebody that's gonna have your life experience is your own. Your life experience is unique to you, and what you go through cannot be freaking cannot be downplayed. It cannot be undervalued. But you know, the bond that we have as human beings is that we all struggle. Um, struggle, unfortunately, is part of life. Um, if you're a person of faith, as I am, um, the word says you're gonna struggle. You're gonna have difficulties. You just got to get used to it. Have faith and move on. For those of you who take on the belief of the whole universe thing, the universe is going to throw everything it can at you. It's to make you grow. It's to test you. um and I believe in those struggles, in those things, you find purpose. um just because you and I'm also going to say that just because you haven't found your purpose doesn't mean you can't do something purposeful. Go out, go volunteer, go find yourself something to do. um you know Life sucks. You're going to run into problems everywhere you go, but through those struggles, helping others and doing things for others is where, I would say, for all of us, including veterans, because I mean, hell, we're meant to suffer, we're meant to struggle. um as as people,
I
as
think we're
fighting
probably a little
men and
bit
women.
we're probably a little bit better prepared for the struggle.
Correct. So I would
Okay.
say, it's kind of that thing of, you know it takes one that has experienced hardship to help others get through said hardship. Don't underplay your experience, and don't underplay what you bring to the table. We all have something to bring to the table, and through that, we will find our purpose. Do that, and I mean, honestly, everything will fall into place.
Right on, my dude. Right on, my dude. Yeah. So, I mean, to kind of recap, I mean, purpose is, I don't think, unless you really sit down and ponder what it is what your purpose is, or what it is you're trying to find as your purpose, it's probably not something that we really we give kind of like a passing glance of a mention in our head. It's just like, okay. I mean, unless you really sit down and have that, that conversation with yourself, like, what am I here for? What am I to do? Like, I know my purpose, like my main purpose right now is to raise my daughter into a capable, confident, and, you know, as best equipped adult to go out into modern society and make a difference. That's kind of like my purpose right now. It is something I don't take lightly. It's I have other things that I do as well, but it's
To all
definitely one
you
of those things
daddies out there, happy Daddy's Day.
that shameless plug. We were just talking about that. That's kind of why it stuck in my head. Like, we were just talking about that, right? But yeah, I mean, and I think most parents agree. It's like you go and you try to, especially like in my case, not that there was anything wrong with how I was brought up. Not saying that at all. I was very, very fortunate. My parents were together for 42 years before my dad passed away. Um, Very loving household. A little bit tough at times, just because of being a bonehead and getting in trouble over dumb shit. Because in order to be old and wise, you got to be young and stupid first.
Let's just put it
So
this way: if you got
trust the
balls,
process.
you're hard headed.
On that note, yeah. Let's derail that whole train of thought. So we're gonna close out the show now.
Sorry, brother. I was just in agreement
No,
with you.
you're good. You're good. You're good. No, but again, yeah. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Spend time with your kids, man. That's if you can.
That's right.
It's,
And that's one thing to
if
remember,
you
man.
want to see, if you want to see a really good some comedy about Father's Day, there's a comedian by the name of Ali Sadiq. He is an
think I
older
heard of that
guy,
guy.
probably in his 40s or 50s, bald headed black guy. He has this pretty good bit about how Father's Day is like of all the holidays during the year, Father's Day is like 20th in popularity. Second one is Mother's Day. First one's Christmas. So it's like top of the list: Jesus and your mama. And then the Halloween 13. So we got ghosts and goblins before fathers. It is he's so good. He is he's one of my favorite comedians. He's
Yeah.
great. He talks about a whole bunch of different shit, but it is hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And see,
so
that's the
as we
thing
talk,
though, is that, like you bring up a valid point though. Like, if you're a fucking dad, be a dad. You know, bring honor to that name. Bring honor to that title. And do the best you can to be a purposeful father. Serve your children and your
and
wife
also remember,
or your
so here's
significant
another
other
good plug.
with purpose.
Also remember that June is Men's Mental Health Month. So make sure you take the time to take care of yourself.
Correct.
Freaking, don't. We oftentimes, as men, as fathers or whatnot, our needs are very secondary, for our
Yep.
spouses and our children and whatnot. Guys, remember to take care of yourself. Like, seriously, we're gonna talk about that a little bit more in a second, but just don't put yourself at the back of the line. Okay, make sure you have to take the time. Good example. There are times I love my daughter to pieces. I love my mom. There are times when I'm just like, I gotta do something for me. So like, I get out, and our good friend Brian, him and I will get in the car, and like we just go for a drive, and we just talk about, like, because he's also one of those guys that's like drowning in the estrogen ocean. Three
Mhm.
daughters and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, yeah. So we just get in the car and we'll go for a ride, and it's like, all right, man, we're not talking about work stuff, we're not talking about kids, like we're talking about, Jeeps, guns, and gals. And it's like, all right, let's go. So, just typical, like overly testosterone laden type shit. It's fucking great.
Mhm.
So, but it's important.
The
It's like that's how you balance all that out.
To simplify what Max said, the best way to manage your family is to manage and maintain yourself first.
Okay, seriously, what is going on with you, man? You are just you're not like Dr. Phil, but you're kind of like Doc. You're like Spock. You're just like, manage yourself. What the hell's going on? You need to be writing down these advice. Oh, that's what you do. That's what your purpose is to write a book. It's called Macho Motivation. That's what you do. That's what you do. Anyway, folks, we're going to
Indeed.
start wrapping up the show here. So, as you mentioned earlier, we talked about, this conversation was on purpose. Hopefully you took something away from that, or at least kind of conjured up a thought process in your head of like really taking a deep dive inside of yourself, looking at purpose and whatnot. When I think of purpose, one of the other examples I have of purpose is how this show got started. So, Alamo and I used to work together in the retail business, in firearms retail. We worked at the range counter for a pretty popular retailer here in the Tampa area, where I live and that he used to live in. And we had this guy that worked with us named John, and John was a great dude, man. John was a funny fucker, just made work fun. We would do just the dumbest things. He'd be like, hey, yeah, nice. We just had so much fun. And it was like work didn't feel like work. Work just like, I'm getting paid to hang out with a couple of the guys and like just be professional, but also have some fun doing dumb shit. All right, cool. And just all the different guys we had there, Jeff and Matty Junks and Nate and all the guys, like when we were all there together, it was so much fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we unfortunately lost touch with John. He left, kind of went on to some other things, and we were kind of entertaining the idea of doing something together because I did an event with Alamo's wife for Flipside Mentorship. And it was a great success. And then afterwards, he's like, "Hey, man, we should do something together." I'm like, "Yeah, we totally should." So I found out from a friend of John's that John, unfortunately, solved a temporary problem with a permanent solution, and he committed suicide. So I reached out to Alamo, and I was like, "Hey, dude, did you hear about John?" He goes, "No, man, I got to reach out to him." I was like, "You can't. He's gone." So that was kind of like the aha moment for me. I'm like, "Dude, you talked about doing a podcast. Like, I'm in. Let's do this. Okay, this is what we need to do.
Let's do this thing.
Let's do it." So we started talking about, what we wanted to do and whatnot. I'm like, "Why the hell we do a podcast?" He was like, "I don't know shit about a podcast." He goes, "Dude, they put a monkey in space. How hard can it be?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's pretty true. That's facts right there." So we the conversations we have are not ever going to win any type of literary award, folks. But it's just like,
Never.
if you know, kind of thing. But anyway, so we started talking about a podcast, and it kind of the idea gained some steam and some momentum going forward, and kind of wanted to talk about things that were problems for the military community, veterans especially. Especially like we talked about when you get out of the military, man, everybody kind of goes through that whole like, what do I do now? I'm not sure. Like Matt Best has a book called "Thank You for My Service," and he talks about getting out of Ranger Battalion, and like he's like, I did a couple of jobs here and there. They're kind of weird, this that, just hanging around a weird group and this that and the other. Like everybody goes through that. It's like, it's like, what do you do? Unless it's probably a little bit easier when you get up into some higher levels of leadership, and transferring over into the civilian world is probably not that hard because it's being an executive and whatnot. But like we all go through that. So, but that was kind of like what we wanted to talk about and stuff. So we were like, yeah, let's do that. So what are we going to call it? And coming up with the ideas for the show. Well, part of that was that we came up with, besides the title, was we came up with something that we use every show called the Bros Code. And what the Bros Code is 4 easy things you can just kind of remember, focus on to keep yourself going during the tough times. Listen, we all struggle, we all falter, we all get our dicks knocked in the dirt. We all get muddy and bruised and bloody and all that stuff. Pick your shit up, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and fucking drive on. Okay, and that's what this is kind of for. So if you can remember these 4 things, you're gonna have a pretty good chance of being okay. So the first one is be tenacious. No matter what you do in life, go do it to the fullest of your ability. And I'm going to focus on something Alamo said a few minutes ago. For the dads out there, be a dad. You have such a great responsibility. It reminds me of that line from Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility. All joking aside, there's a lot of truth to that. Like, to be a father figure is such just an enormous task that we shoulder as men, as fathers and whatnot. As a therapist, I think I get a lot of the success that I have because of, the clients that I work with, and I can't get it too much. Sometimes they don't always have a positive male influence in their life, or like that assertive, male that can really help to give them some direction and whatnot. So just being around those kids, if I can help them do that, so be it. Even if they're, not necessarily clients that I'm working with, if I can just kind of help to impart that positivity in their life, hell yeah, I'm going to do that. No matter what it is you do, whatever your job is, if you're a garbage man or you're a freaking electrician, a plumber, if you're a guy out there, cleaning out porta potties, okay, go do it the best of your ability. That porta potty should freaking smell like roses, not like shit in them like you're going to grow roses, okay? No matter what you do, whatever that looks like, be tenacious doing it, all right? Just go out there and give it 110%. Remember, in the words of Ron Swanson, don't half-ass 2 things. Whole ass 1 thing. Knowledge. Warheads to foreheads. Boop. All right, R. Refuse to surrender. There are going to be times in your life, like we talked about, you might stumble, you might falter, you might fail. You're going to lose that sense of purpose, okay? That happens. It's okay to fail. You have to fail in order to succeed. Go out there and find your new purpose. Whether it's, there's folks out there that can't have kids, but they want to be a positive influence on others. They adopt, they foster kids. Go do that. Volunteer at your community center. Whatever the case may be. Whenever these things happen, like, don't let them define you. I saw a great quote talking about your past is not a prison sentence. It's a cautionary tale. So learn from it. Don't live in it and keep going. Refuse to surrender. That's all I really got to say. Oh, obliterate your
real quick, Mac, would you venture to say that
here we go.
The sins of your past, the sins of your past do not guarantee your future?
What the hell is going on with you tonight, man? It's not even bad. I'm just like, dude, who is this guy? You're like Rami Malek. You went in there and like did a twin thing and like, did a speech. You're like, the fuck is going on here? Obliterate your obstacles and kind of going forward with the last one we talked about, refusing to surrender. Those obstacles that come up in your life, okay, that's great. Circumnavigate them, get around them, go under them, go over them, whatever the case may be. Don't let that stop you on your, on finding your objective, hitting that OBJ, finding that goal, determining that purpose, whatever the case may be. Sometimes things happen or they get in our way. Okay, push the wall over, breach a door, use some C4 and Bangalores, drive a vehicle through it. Whatever that looks like, okay? Who cares? Don't let those obstacles stop you, okay? They're just but temporary, roadblocks. Keep going, okay? S, most importantly, seek out help in a time of need. As we mentioned with John, there is nothing we can do to bring him back, and that's unfortunate because John was one of those guys. He was a good, solid fucking dude. He really was. He'd give you the shirt off his back. He'd offer you, things all the time. He's just a kind of guy. He didn't do it for the accolades. He just did it because he understood. It was like, you need something, dude. I got you. Don't worry about it. And I did, and we did that for each other. When we all worked there and stuff, like we all looked out for each other and did shit for each other. Like I said, unfortunately, we fell out of touch, and it was we found out too late what happened and all that kind of stuff. But just remember, you don't have to go through things alone. Humans are very social creatures, just like other types of other types of organisms that are on this earth. We're social. We have family groups and social groups we coexist in. We're not really meant to go through things alone. So if you ever feel like you're in a tough spot and you feel like you're going to do something to harm yourself, stop. Don't do that. There are some options out there for you. First thing you want to try to do is, like I know if I'm in a really effed up place or a real crappy place, it's probably one of the few people I'm going to call is this guy right here. Everybody's busy, so I usually have kind of a couple of rolling, a couple of groups, a couple of people in a group of close friends, inner circle that I could call if things got real. And we've done that. There's been plenty of times where him and I have ended up on the phone and we're just like, yeah, dude, I'm not in a good place. It's kind of heavy. And we've talked and all this kind of stuff. And we've been there for each other. And that could be anybody. That could be a family member. It could be a confidant, a coworker, a friend from way back when. In the event that you don't have anybody like that, if you don't have a service member or somebody that you might have been in the military with, like you don't have anybody that kind of checks those boxes or meets that criteria. Like I said, there's options out there. There's if you ever feel like you're going to hurt yourself, there's a National Suicide Prevention Hotline. It's a couple different ways you can get in touch with them. The first is 800 number. It's 1-800-273-8255. Again, that's 1-800-273-8255, or just dial the word talk. 800-273-TALK, TALK. You can also reach out to them by dialing 988. That's 988. You can either call or text that 3-digit prefix. That's the newer one. I think it came out about 2 years ago now, and that's great because we're in a very connected world where everybody's got a cell phone, a smartphone, text messages, or things. Some people prefer to communicate that way. Hey, no judgment here. That's fine. That's just another option you have to get in touch with them. They have people that are there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in order to kind of help you what you're going through. It's not something to be taken lightly, because once you go down that road and solve that problem in a permanent way, that's it. That's all we can do. And everybody deserves to be here. I mean, this statistic right here, on average, 22 a day, is the number of military veterans that commit suicide a day. And that's an astounding number. But when you know one of those people, it sucks a lot worse because you're just like, fuck. There's really just not a whole lot you can do other than just go, shit, I wish I would have done something else, Yeah. So, if you ever feel like you're going down that road, reach out to the folks there. Reach out to somebody. Mom, dad. They may not understand. There's certain people I can't talk about. I can't talk to. About certain aspects of life because they just don't have the commonality to be able to to talk about it. It's like I can't talk to somebody who hasn't been in the military about shit that's military related. And it's not that I'm trying to exclude them.
Life experience.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Felipe. That might be a thing.
It just might be. We'll see.
Oh, God, I've already got ideas spinning around in my head. We'll talk later about that. Anyway, if you can remember those 4 things: be tenacious, refuse to surrender, obliterate your obstacles, seek out help in a time of need, you're going to have a better than not chance of, at least getting yourself stable in that moment to go, okay, maybe I need to do something different, kind of get some help, what that case may be. So we want to keep everybody around. If you're a veteran, you deserve to have your story told. Once you're gone, those memories, that experience, that wisdom, those jokes and those stories, man, they're gone. We can't ever get that back. They were saying the year for the D-Day anniversary is probably the last time they're going to have living D-Day veterans there that are going to be alive because they're all getting up there to being close to like 95 or
Centennials.
100. Yeah, like they're getting up there to being close to 100. So, once they're gone, they're gone. And, Vietnam veterans are next. Like they're going to be the next big group. So,
yeah.
But if you can remember those 4 things, folks, try to remember those. If you ever feel like you're in a tough spot, let somebody know, reach out, get some help, whatever that looks like or whoever that may be. So we love you. We want to keep you here, and we want to hear your story. So on that note, I'm going to hand it off to this guy. He's going to close it out. So take it away, Dr. Felipe.
So if you would like to get in contact with us on these social medias, or if you'd like to see, find us on the social medias, you can do that in multiple different places. You can do that, number one, on the Metaverse groups, aka Facebook, where you can find us at facebook.com/battlebros.podcast. You can also find us on the Instagram at battlebros_podcast. You can even find us over there on Elon's platform, over on X, formerly Twitter, at BattleBrosPC, where you can message us on those instant messengers any time of the week, any time of day. We will be monitoring every single one of those platforms for your messages. If you have anything from comments that you'd like to make down to, episode type suggestions, do that down here in the comments section down below in the YouTube channel, as well as on our Facebook, Twitter, or excuse me, X and Instagram pages, where we'll be monitoring for that. If, like Mac was talking about earlier, um, you find yourself struggling, um, we're always available via instant messenger on either one of the platforms that I just mentioned. Um, we're here. We're ready to listen. We're willing to freaking talk to you, no matter what, no matter how long it takes. Um, I can tell you right now, I won't mention the individual by name for sake of privacy, but I had a conversation uh, some time back. Mac knows about it because I shared the conversation with him, um, with one of my fellow compatriots from one of my old units. Um,
Yep.
he was having some dark thoughts, um, and I had to talk to him. Had to let him know, like, hey, you're still needed. Don't don't do anything stupid. Um, we're willing to do that for any of you. That goes for anybody that messages us. Um, if it's something that you'd like to do in a little bit more of a private setting, we have a Gmail account where you can message us privately. No one else other than myself and Mac will see these messages, so that's a promise. Um, and just talk to us, man. You could do that at battlebrospc@gmail.com. Just message us, leave us a message, say, hey, I'm struggling here, guys. What do you think? You know, we'll let you know what we think. We'll talk to you. We'll let you know. So, you know, don't, you know, don't make a decision that's going to hurt everyone else, including yourself. You know, you and the people around you don't deserve that. Um,
Amen to that.
if you want to catch us on any audio platforms, you can do that on multiple different platforms. You could do that on Spotify. You can do that on YouTube. Excuse me. You can do that on uh, iHeartRadio, Google, Amazon Music, and a myriad of different platforms. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've actually forgotten how many platforms we're actually on in terms of audio. Um, and I don't
Honestly,
have the
there's
current
no
page
bounds here,
pulled up.
folks.
I don't have the current page pulled up. So,
Man,
yeah,
it's funny.
definitely check us out on any of those platforms that especially on iTunes or Spotify or iHeart. Um, I know plenty of people that use all three. Um, check us out. Give us a
Yep.
listen, and again, in the comment sections of those platforms, leave us some comments. Leave us some episode suggestions. If you guys want an episode suggestion to be heard or read out loud on the show, we'll go ahead and do it, and we'll even mention your name just for being cool enough to give us ideas. Other than that, I've got nothing, and I think we is good.
So, last two things we're going to discuss. A couple of shout outs we want to give. The first one is a good buddy of ours who's actually the first VIP segment we did, Mr. Brent Lee. He has a discount code. So it's for a behavioral assessment called a DISC assessment. Um, what is a DISC assessment? It is the John Maxwell DISC assessment is a powerful tool designed to help individuals understand their unique behavioral style and improve their communication skills. The assessment explores four main personality traits: dominance, influence, steadiness, and conscientiousness. With this valuable insight, individuals can learn how to better interact with others and adapt their communication style to various situations. The assessment also provides detailed feedback and personalized coaching to help individuals leverage their strengths and overcome their weaknesses. Whether used for personal development or team building, the John Maxwell DISC Assessment is an essential resource for anyone looking to enhance their interpersonal skills and achieve greater success in both their personal and professional lives. So if you go to skilleddevelopment.com, if you put in the code BattleBros100, it'll give them $100 off of having this assessment done. So it's like, it's kind of awesome because like we got a coupon code. We're stepping it up, man. Yeah. But yeah, go to skilldevelopment.com, check out what they have to offer, and if you put in Battle Bros 100 as it appears on the screen here, BATTLEBROS 100, it'll get you $100 off of the assessment. So thank you, Brent. Appreciate it. Looking out for us as always. Good stuff. The other one is for our good friend Amelia. She has a business, a little side hustle she does. If you go to etsy.com/shop /heart to hand homestead, you may have to look at the screen there. She makes homemade soaps and whatnot, and they are amazing. Alamo and I have both used them. We swear by them.
Sure
Great
have.
for all kind of stuff. Alamo uses his for shaving. She's got a one that's like charcoal
Shaving
bar, which is
and
pretty
bathing.
awesome. Yeah, it's good stuff. Please give that a check out. Please give it a look. See if you like it. She has all kind of great stuff. They're not expensive. They mail out in a very timely manner. All that good stuff. She has been a friend of ours for a very long time. I've known her for, I can't really say because it's going to age both of us here. But yeah. Give it a look. Check it out. She'd appreciate that, and we'd appreciate you for supporting her. So again, it's etsy.com/shop /heart to hand homestead. If you do that, we'd appreciate it. Check it out. Guarantee you love it. So on that note, we are wrapping up episode 083 entitled Purpose. Thank you for joining us for the conversation. We look forward to coming back next week with another great convo, chit chat. Going to be kind of sort of related to what we talked about tonight. So it's going to be kind of like a bookend piece to what we talked about. But guess you'll just have to check it out and find out. So yeah. So on that note, this has been the Battle Bros podcast with Mac and Alamo. Thank you so much for stopping by. And just remember, be tenacious, refuse to surrender, obliterate your obstacles, and seek out help in a time of need. If you can do that, you're going to be okay. So until then, we will see you down the road.
Battle Bros out.